is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
For the final time in 2017, Marlins baseball hits the air. The Atlanta Braves and the Fish finish off a 4-game series. Miami has never swept Atlanta in a 4-game series ever, here or in Atlanta. They got a chance to do it this afternoon as the Fish on the field right now. All kinds of stuff going on. A lot of fans down there, some awards being handed out. And, of course, Giancarlo Stanton awaits his final game in 2017. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Look, there's a lot to talk about in this one. You could talk about D. Gordon, the stolen base race, Ichiro and a pinch hit record. The focus is on Giancarlo Stanton. And for a closing day, I got to tell you, there's electricity in this building.
Well, there certainly is, and there should be, even from around baseball. Remember, all these races have all been wrapped up, so you've got some individual guys, individual performances going today. Stanton being at the forefront of this, not just locally, but nationally.
He's at the forefront of the lineup as well. Look at this. Giancarlo is leading off with some protection behind him in
Right.
Marcell Ozuna.
Slide him up to the 2-hole, right? Well, you love to see it right there. If you want to talk about protection, this is about at least guaranteeing Stanton 4 at-bats, maybe 5 if he needs it, but giving him every possible opportunity for number 60.
Don Mattingly, of course, played for the Yankees, and he was a coach with Joe Torre in both New York and Los Angeles. And one thing Torre would do, if the final game was of no consequence in the standings, he would let a player manage. So guess what? Last year it was Martin Prado. This year it's A.J. Ellis.
I love it, right? Are we going to give him the business up here in the booth? I think we'll question some calls out of the bullpen. He's the perfect guy for this job. He should take it, have some fun with it today, and really go out there and enjoy it. Listen, I think many people around the game have even asked me, hey, A.J. Ellis, do you see him being maybe a manager when he's done playing? Well, he gets his first taste of it today, right?
Jose Urena has been a really nice story in Miami's rotation. And Urena looking for win number 15 in this ballgame.
Yeah, breakout season. I think he's at the top of just about everybody's list of surprise performer, and he's just had an incredible season. Love to get win number 15.
Now, on the other side, Max Fried is a guy the Marlins have seen and a guy that Stanton has homered against.
Yes, indeed. In fact, his only big league start that's by definition a bad one. The Marlins are the ones that handed it to him. Stanton took him deep that day. But for Fried, he's auditioning for potentially next year's rotation for the Atlanta Braves. So this start means something to him.
Hey, it's closing day. Giancarlo going for 60 and maybe beyond. We'll hear from A.J. Ellis about his lineup. We got a lot of cool stuff planned for you kids here on closing day on this Sunday in Miami. final day, 2017. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Cohen, guys.
All right, thank you. Well, Don Mattingly told us last night that Stanton was going to bat first, so that took that out of A.J. Ellis. But what's the big challenge for him as the player manager today?
Well, I mean, it's all about managing a pitching staff, right? It's going to go up against Jose Urena, try to get him his 15th win today, try to get Stanton up 5 or 6 times, especially that last time to get his 60th home run, maybe 61, maybe 62, who knows?
All right, here's some more from A.J. Ellis in our pregame conversation.
My wife reminded me that 9 years ago on the last day of the season, I made my first career start with Nomar Garciaparra as my manager. And on the last day of the season, we had clinched the playoffs, and in 2008, I was able to start the last day. So Nomar was my manager then, and 9 years later, Donnie carrying over Joe's tradition is allowing myself and Martine to kind of see what it's like to sit in his chair, which as I've kind of gathered information this morning and looked around and thought about things, it's a lot faster than you think it would be, which gives a credit to how easy and slow he makes it look.
Yeah, the season's over with, so to speak. One more game to go. Here he is switching lineup cards there with the umpires and the opposing manager. Well, Brett Snickner's doing it with A.J. Ellis, and it's just a fun time to, hey, relax. Let's have a blow here to end the season. Yep. But two big things supposed to, or should happen today, or hopefully happen today. Giancarlo Stanton and maybe Ichiro get in there. He'll get him in for his record-setting pinch hit. And
I'm looking to see if A.J. puts A.J. into pinch hit. He said he did that once. Played for Brad Ausmus, who was in this spot, and Ausmus, as then a player, put himself in the pinch hit, took the windbreaker off, and put the windbreaker back on.
Why wouldn't you?
Could happen. He said you never know. Should be interesting here on closing day from Marlins Park. Our final time to meet with you this baseball season. See if the Fish can finish it off on a good note, a sweep, and maybe some historic numbers as well. Ball game coming up.
Marlins Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Well, there's also the changing of the guard today. Jeffrey Loria, his final day as owner. Derek Jeter, Bruce Sherman, and that group are here today. They are in the building. So there is that on this closing day in 2017. Braves lineup looks this way. Southwest Airlines, Ozzie Albies in the leadoff spot. Kurt Suzuki hits second. Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, Lane Adams, Rio Ruiz, Dansby Swanson, Jace Peterson, and Max Fried, the lefty, is slotted ninth.
And on the mound one more time for the Marlins this season, Jose Urena making his 28th start. Boy, what a season he's had. Instead of breaking down the numbers, I'm just going to give you something of what we saw last year to what we see this year, and we'll go from there. 2016, he was 4-9 with a 6.13 ERA. He made 12 starts. In 2017, 14-7 with a 3.77. 10 more wins, 2 less losses, and an ERA down nearly 2+ on his ERA. Great to see. You see the season he's had against the Braves. Outstanding stuff. Coming off a little rocky start, excuse the pun. He's looking to finish strong here at Marlins Park today, where he has pitched very well this season.
Albie's in the box. Urena on the mound, and here we go. First pitch swing, fly ball right field. Stanton is there. And Giancarlo makes the catch. One pitch, one out. Early swinging and lots of strikes is what you expect on the final day of the season. Here's Miami's defense.
Yeah, there used to be a rule for that, you know. All right, we'll get into that in a second. Marlins defense for today's ballgame: Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, one last time together here in 2017. Anderson, Rojas, D. Gordon, Justin Bour, JT Realmuto, along with Jose Urena on the mound.
Kurt Suzuki next up for the Braves. And Urena pounds the strike zone. Urena's the perfect guy in this staff to pitch on closing day, because he has made his living and made his quantum improvements by pounding the strike zone with two-seamers, change-ups, slider every now and then. He's been aggressive from the very start.
Well said. That's exactly right. The evolution of his two-seam fastball here in the second half, at least that's what stands out to my eyeballs. The slider and changeup have been outstanding this year. He's complimented him well, and now he's got a fastball that moves just a little bit. You see Suzuki trying to get out of the way of that two-seam fastball.
Now it moves a lot, and in fact he had issues in the middle of the season hitting batters, not necessarily maliciously, but
right.
Just that the run, the arm side run on his two-seamer did a lot of that.
Well, it did, and it hit a lot of batters. And the thing that I pointed out last start, and again it wasn't his best work in Colorado, was the simple fact that he's done so much better not doing that. He's owned that inside part, and that two-seam fastball has been much more effective. Only one hit batter in his last 8 ball games.
Urena and Julius Chassin top that list.
It feels like he was at 14 about halfway through the season, doesn't it?
Suzuki gets into that one, rips it into the corner. It curls foul. Ozuna tracks it down. Suzuki looking skyward. He hit that ball right on the button.
Suzuki has changed his swing around over the last couple of seasons. Boy, are the Atlanta Braves happy about it. They got their hands on him. He has been an offensive machine. He and Tyler Flowers formed one of the best offensive duos behind home plate, so much so that they're bringing him back.
Brian Snitker's not sure if he's coming back. The Braves have yet to let him know if he'll be back to manage in 2018. This is his first full season as the Braves manager. Hit to third. Anderson straightens up and fires him out. And up comes Freddie Freeman. Freeman's season shortened with a wrist injury, hit by a pitch. You take that away, and the numbers that remain are pretty darn impressive. 403 on base, 582 slug.
Oh, he's right there. I think he's just waiting for the talent around him. I have to admit, I was a bit fooled, you know, a couple of seasons ago when I used to work at MLB Network. You know, the idea that holding on to Freddie Freeman actually made sense for the Atlanta Braves. I was like, how could you? You need to, you know, let him go play somewhere else and take the haul back that you get, right? Well, they've said all along, we're holding on to Freddie Freeman no matter what else we do. Pitching, trading, Shelby Miller, Andrelton Simmons. We'll make those moves, but we're holding on to this guy. He is what we're going to build around.
You saw that conversation with JT Realmuto. It's one of the things I love about this day is that players are a little more relaxed. They have a little more fun. The 2-1 pitch. That is, if the game does not have any determination on standings for either team. And you can see Freeman, the conversation was a smiling one, a friendly one. That went foul back to the screen. Every spot in the postseason is set. Home field done. So there's no game out here on the landscape of Major League Baseball. And they all just started, by the way, at 3 o'clock Eastern. That will affect any postseason standing. Freeman rips that one down the right field line, and it's going to bounce up against the wall. Stanton retrieves it. Freeman into second, and he holds there with a double.
Here's the two-seam fastball to the front door on Freeman. Gets his arms inside the baseball and rips it into the right field corner. On that ball as well as anybody. Short, compact swing. 35 doubles for Freddie Freeman this season.
Nick Markakis now. He goes after the first pitch and lines it to Anderson. Scoreless start for Urania. A leadoff spot for Giancarlo. At the plates. And gunning for 60. Scoreless start. Giancarlo Stanton leading off today for the first time in his career. Miami's lineup brought to you by Southwest. Stanton, Ozuna, Yelich, Real Muto, Bohr, Anderson, Rojas, Urania, and D. Gordon is in that 9 spot. Once the lineup turns over, Stanton will follow D just like he always does, or at least from the middle of the season on, and he'll be facing the lefty, Max Fried.
Yeah, let's talk about Max Fried, 6'4", 200 pounds, 23 years old. Your AutoNation scouting report. Here you go. High hopes. Yeah, he carries these into his last start. He's auditioning for next year's rotation, no doubt about it. He's been pretty good. 3.21 ERA as a starter.
First pitch to Stanton is a fastball that misses out.
All right, he's got some bad memories. That goes back to the September 9th start. His only bad start was against the Marlins. Stanton took him deep, number 54 on the season.
Fastball outside corner. That's where the Braves have pitched Stanton throughout the series.
And what Fried does best, he's a ground ball machine. 4-1 in this his short audition here in September.
1-1 pitch. Stanton takes a rip, and it's 1-2.
You can see the tailing action on his two-seam fastball as it works away. All right, that home run number 54 was 456 feet, 114 miles an hour off the bat. That home run he hit off Fried September 9th.
1-2, and a swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and down goes Stanton. Well, we talked about the psychology for Stanton last night. He's been at his best this year when he's been patient, when he's taken pitches, when he's walked. But there's no time for patience anymore.
Yeah, there's no tomorrow. Fried went right at him. I think it's just going to be as simple as seeing a pitch in a spot. And I think when it comes down to the one moment that we're talking about, trying to hit number 60, is looking into a zone, not looking for a pitch, not playing to a sequence, looking for a zone for Stanton today. If he's looking middle in, stay middle in, maybe lay off some stuff away and just hope that you get something that you can crush.
Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich behind him. And Ozuna fouls it off. The focus, obviously, in this ballgame is Stanton and the number 60. But there are a lot of players, a lot of Marlins, who have had terrific years and have reached milestones that they have never approached in their careers. And Ozuna is front and center. Rolls that one out to short. Swanson fires to first. I mean, 36 homers, 122 driven in, and he's going to finish well over 300.
Let's take a look at the Braves defensively for number 162. Peterson's going to get the start in left field. Lane Adams out in center. Nick Markakis in right. Ruiz, Swanson, Albies, Freeman. Bert Suzuki behind home plate. Max Fried.
Yelich climbs in. Takes a fastball up. Yelich sitting right at 280 with 18 homers. He's driven in 81, 36 doubles, and the OPS over 800.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent, right? I had a good conversation with him yesterday just about his season, and he's going to catch that one on the front side. His way to first base.
Breaking ball got him. Yelich trotting down to first.
It's funny, you and I had talked about, waiting for Yelly to kind of heat up at some point this year, and he kind of admitted to me that, he never seemed like he found his stroke, and I just laugh because as we go over his numbers, it just tells you how good he's going to be. He's got an 803 OPS. He's driven in 80 runs. He's hitting near 20 home runs. Solid contributor, good on-base percentage, and he just never felt like he hit that 2-3 week run where he was going to get hot.
JT Realmuto's hitting cleanup in this ball game. Good move. And Yelich is back in. And keep that move on file for when D. Gordon gets on. Of course, Gordon is one stolen base ahead of Billy Hamilton for the National League stolen base crown going into play today. Realmuto, a fantastic year. He's continued to get better defensively. He's enjoyed his time against the Braves. Fried misses out. Roller out to short. Swanson sweeps it over to Albies, and Miami's done in the first. bench coach. A.J. Ellis managing his first game. And of course, Martin Prado managed last year on the final day. Let's go back. He had Miguel Rojas as his bench coach. Prado watching intently from the top step. It was a Max Scherzer game. Replay, send the bench coach. Got to make a pitching change. Oh, good form there, pointing to that left arm. So that was Prado last year. And Prado is the bench coach for A.J. Ellis this year. Lane Adams at the plate, Rio Ruiz and Dansby Swanson. If you missed earlier throughout Marlins Live and then right before the game, we had A.J. Ellis talking about managing. It's a tradition, and we've talked about it before. Don Mattingly picked it up from Joe Torre. And Ellis noting that he made his Major League debut with Nomar Garcia-Parra managing the Dodgers.
Under the same set of circumstances.
Yes. And I think it's actually fun for Don Mattingly and Tim Wallach to kind of watch the game and not. I mean, look, AJ described this as driver's ed. He's in the big seat, but Mattingly's in the other seat with the little brakes that just in case he could step on. I think the guy on the right side of that shot is going to manage someday as well, Brian Schneider. Busted bat and a flip, and Urena is there to get the out. Well, there he is, and there they are, Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter, the group here today. A lot of family members here. They were behind home plate a couple hours before first pitch. A lot of photos, kicking the tires, so to speak. And so welcome, congratulations. And it's a new day, certainly, for Marlins baseball. Rio Ruiz is up. And Jose Urena misses with that first pitch. Got Dansby Swanson coming up as well. The Braves, in losing the 3 games here, have fallen to 71 and 90 on the season. They came into this series hoping and determined not to lose 90 games, but they're there already. The Marlins a chance to win their 78th game if they can complete this 4-game sweep.
There certainly were a lot of highs, a few lows. Those lows a little bit too long for the Marlins this season. Definitely finishing on a good note against a team, the Atlanta Braves, that in some ways had their number all season long until now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
Ruiz walks. Here comes Dansby Swanson. Swanson, an up and down season, figuratively and literally. Numbers were up and down, and then he was up and down between AAA and the big leagues. And Urena gets a strike. All the games have started in Major League Baseball. Billy Hamilton is 0 for 1. He bounced out, so no stolen bases so far. The Reds are at Wrigley Field to face the Cubs. That is a foul ball. Nice move there by Mark Rippinger, the third base umpire.
Those of you interested in the MVP discussion, particularly out west, Colorado Rockies, Charlie Blackmon, Arenado are both in the lineup today. Remember, the Colorado Rockies clinched last night. I think there was some debate whether the 2 big sluggers would be playing today. They both are in the lineup.
As well, Paul Goldschmidt is hitting third for Arizona in Kansas City. That one kicks off of Real Muto and goes right down the steps to the Braves clubhouse. In fact, that'll roll all the way to the office of Rock Hughes. Hi, Rock. Rock, open your door. There's a baseball right outside.
We need it back.
So the count 1-2 to Swanson. And he drills one foul. Seeing the guy in the Ichiro shirt walk by reminds me that, yes, Ichiro has a chance to tie the Major League record for pitch hits in a season. He's at 27. No doubt he'll get that opportunity.
To think that's all resting on the shoulders of A.J. Ellis.
That's right.
Don't mess it up, A.J.
He's got to pick the matchup.
There could be some lasting effects that hinge on that one pitch hit at bat, right? You certainly want to get Ichiro a legit shot, particularly against a righty, and see if he can't get it done. He may jump early and see how he navigates the rest of his lineup if in fact he does do that.
As I remember last year, Prado did meet the media after the game.
Come on.
And I wonder if AJ will be in the interview room.
Did he really?
After the game. Sure, he's the manager.
I guess so. His hair hasn't turned gray yet.
There's Urania with that good 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. And his first strikeout of the ball game.
Two-seam fastball, good downward action. Boy, oh boy, it is hard to do anything with that pitch. Certainly at 98.
Jace Peterson is the hitter. Intentionally walked. And now you've got Max Fried. You heard AJ say it, and even Prado said this last year, and anybody that's done it for the first time, they're amazed at how fast things move when you are managing a team. They don't wait around for you to make a decision.
Well, you're essentially in on just about everything when you really think about it. You got first and thirds, things that are going on defensively. What are you looking for? I think if the buck stops with you, you've got a lot of things to, a lot of input.
Free little tapper. Urania knocks it down, picks it up, throws him out. Two scoreless for Jose Urania. Miami trying to get on the board. The final day of 17. The run didn't score. Riddle, right field, knocks deep, back goes Bruce, ball game. The kid hit it out. Unbelievable. A walk-off for J.T. Riddle. How about that, Marlins fans? What made that so unbelievable is the Marlins had a chance to walk off moments before that and had a runner thrown out at the plate on a really close play, and you thought the opportunity was wasted, and Riddle rides one out of the ballpark.
You know, and that's the great thing for a Marlins fan, right? You're all in when thinking you're going to win before the Riddle homer on that particular play, so the emotion is high, and then all of a sudden you exhale and you're like, oh no, it's out. And then he steps into the moment and he brings everybody off their seat.
Now you notice that they've renamed the end of the season music video / highlight show. It's now a video spectacular.
Well, that's what it should be.
It's gotten even better from yesterday.
Yes.
New and improved. It is spectacular. It is a lot of fun. So stick around. Marlins Live after the ball game. Very cool music. Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins production have some of the most talented tape and editing people in the game, in the business. That's why we get all the cool video in front of games, at the end of games, in the middle of games. And they've been working on it for the last 185 days. Or however long. I think that's what it is, 185.
Well, I'm sure we're going to find out how long they've been working on it.
Board takes a strike, counts 2-1. Anderson and Rojas behind Bohr. Big man's hit 25 this year. Good breaking ball from Fried. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Bohr swings and misses. So Max Fried has his second strikeout. He's been able to get Stanton and Bohr. And here comes Brian Anderson in a scoreless ball game.
Hit a home run at Marlins Park and win season tickets. Place your 2018 season ticket deposit for as little as $250. You're going to get an invite to swing for your seats from home plate for a chance to win free Marlins season tickets. For more information, visit marlins.com/swing.
Anderson now had a really nice night last night. Takes a strike. 3 hits, a couple more doubles. 7 doubles in this short stay in the big leagues.
All around good game. Made a couple of nice defensive plays as well. Showed some power to all fields, power to right, power to left. Maybe hoping to get one up today and get that first one. Last one in off the corner.
It's the last day of the season. Generally, the strike zone is a large one for everybody. Anderson asking if it was 3-2, but it's 2-2. I think he was still thinking about that pitch that was in that was called the strike.
Good try.
It's worth a shot. Fried is really spinning it. Good sharp break there. Second strikeout of the inning, 3rd of the ball game.
And look at that really good curveball. This is his best secondary pitch. Gets more swing and misses at that curveball, and we've already seen it first time through the lineup. Fried has put it on display. Top to bottom, 12-6. You see that action up into the strike zone and then bottoms out below the zone. Tough for hitters to lay off.
Rojas takes a strike. Miguel has his average up to 290. Just an outstanding season for him. And of course, his season shortened by injury. And the Marlins really missed him when he was down.
I think for Rojas, what he's gained. If we were going to target one period of time during the season where we've seen the most growth, maybe even getting into the specifics offensively, you see that right there. 5-game hitting streak, 556, 5 doubles. He's starting to hit for power. He's found his gaps, hitting the ball to both fields, both left center, right center, and for extra base power.
Of course, last night he was trying to hit for power. In his last at bat, he had 4 hits and was a homer shy of the cycle. And he took a monster rip and hit a high fly ball to left field. Trying to become the first Marlin ever to hit for the cycle.
Completely expected.
Went fouled at the plate. Games of consequence. All right, nothing affects the standings, but it's interesting to see some of the postseason teams and how they're playing today. Bryce Harper's in the lineup in right field. Pirates 5-3 over the Nationals, and that's only in the 2nd inning in D.C. Gio Gonzalez has given up 5 runs in just 1 inning. Pitch is in. Gonzalez was wild early, walked a couple in that 1st inning. The news on Max Scherzer is that a tweak of the hamstring. They did an MRI on it yesterday. He came out of the game. He was moving well today, and the hope is that in 5-6 days he's ready to go. That one lined out of play. Jose Ureñas hitting 8th.
Well, his bats have gotten better here in the 2nd half. No?
Wow.
Try.
He may say that to himself.
There he is.
There's the reason he's hitting 8th. Is D. Gordon's hitting 9th. Rojas swings and misses. And Max Fried is dealing here. Scoreless. Hitters in Marlins history. 2 outs in the 9th. 0-2 pitch. He moved. Reunion to the first, a no-hitter for Edinson Volquez. Oh, what might have been had the Marlins had a full season of Edinson Volquez. But we hope that the rehab from Tommy John surgery is going well. Look forward to his return late 2018.
It was a tremendous story that day, from the first play of the ball game to the development of his changeup throughout that ball game to how it ended. I think was just an incredible story, and watch it unfold. Certainly made for a special day for him and for the Marlins.
Ozzie Albies fouls it off. He sprained his ankle. on that first out of the game, covering first base, a bit of a collision, and thought about coming out of the ball game. The pain was tremendous. That's in the center field. That's base hit. Albies not stopping, on his way to second, and the little guy's got himself 2 bases.
Yeah, this is the energy that Albies brings to the table. I know Braves brass is certainly excited about this young man's potential, both left-handed and right-handed, and what he brings every day. See it right here. First rule of thumb for an outfielder, you don't want to drop the bill of that hat. Once you see it down, the base runner kind of watches for that. He couldn't be watching you if he's watching the ground. He did not stop around first base. Some kind of speed.
Ended right up in Rojas's lap. Keeping the bling safe. So it's a double for Albies. Top of the order for Urania. Second time through now for Suzuki, Freeman, and Markakis. Got 3 teams in baseball with 100 or more wins. Dodgers 103 wins. They lead Colorado 1-0 in Colorado. Indians 101 wins. They lead the White Sox 3-0. Of note in that game, and this is a blast from the past, starting pitcher for the White Sox is Chris Volstad. Long ago, first round pick of the Marlins and a Marlins starter, has worked his way back to the big leagues. Congratulations to him to get back. Two and 0 to Suzuki.
Pitch by Urania in on the hands. Challenge Suzuki to the inside part of the plate. That good fastball, which speaks to the confidence that Urania pitches with now. He's been so consistent this year. 7-3 with a 3.54 in the first half. 7-4 with a 4 ERA in the second half. Sub 4 ERA in 5 of the 6 months of the season.
Suzuki cranks one to left center, and it's deep, and it is gone. Well, he's retooled his swing, and 19 home runs on the season is the payoff.
Now, a lot of times what happens for a hitter, Urania's definitely got his attention on the inside part of the plate. We've seen at least 4 two-seam fastballs to the inner third. So it puts Suzuki on point. So when he gets a changeup in nearly the same spot, guess what ends up happening? You're right on time. You see it hit off the State Farm wall out left center.
The last time Suzuki was in double digits in home runs was 2011, and he hit 14. His career high in 09 was 15 with Oakland. So the Braves have really found a diamond in the rough, so to speak. Now look, Suzuki has been an all-star. I'm not saying he wasn't a great player or a nice player, but now all of a sudden he's got power. Haven't we seen this one before? Freeman, he's going to try for 3. Stanton's throw is cut, and Freddie Freeman's got a triple. And the Braves, using some good swings and some hustle, have a 2-0 lead. A runner at third and nobody out.
Now they're a single away from the cycle here in the 3rd inning. First 3 hitters have all hit it well. Now this one off the bat of Freddie Freeman, a little bit off the end, perfectly placed down that line. And when you see a ball settle in the corner, Watch how Giancarlo Stanton has to go all the way to the wall to get it. Friedman rips that into the corner. It's probably a double. You see it kind of decelerate out there towards the wall. It's almost a lock for a triple as they were playing him the other way.
A.J. Ellis. His ball club is down 2-0 here. Markakis takes a changeup down low. Markakis hit a bullet to third to finish off the first inning.
Marlins have held him 1 for 12 in this series. Highly unlikely when you consider the damage that Markakis has done throughout the rest of the season. You may not see Markakis stop too if he gets one in the outfield. He's sitting on 39 doubles.
Roller out to short. Rojas has it. Freeman comes across. And the Braves chase home that run. You can connect with the Marlins and fans just like you on social media. Marlins.com/connect gives you a full roster of Marlin players on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can sign up to be a Marlin insider. Receive all of the latest updates and offers on your home team. This is certainly a day of transition for the Miami Marlins. It's the end of the 2017 season. It's a day where the new ownership group is in the ballpark. Good crowd here. A lot of anticipation with Giancarlo Stanton. Adams. Ozuna is there. And he makes the catch. And make sure you stick around for Marlins Live after the ball game. All the big plays, behind the scenes stuff, fun music, light moments, dramatic memories. On the 2017 end of season video spectacular. A.J. Ellis is hoping to show up on it as a manager and as a player, because he is the player manager for the Marlins today. Giancarlo due up third in the bottom of the inning. Stanton struck out his first time up. And Max Fried, the Atlanta starter, looks nasty.
He does. Got good two-seam action working, running away from the righties, and that 12-6 curveball also looks very, very good this afternoon. Question is, how long will he go? Efficient so far today.
The other side of the coin, Jose Urena has battled it here.
Runners on in every inning.
Giving up a couple doubles, a triple, a homer. loses Ruiz. And at this pace, in terms of pitch count, getting past the 5th or the 6th is problematic. Oh, well, look at this. New pitching coach. Odrisamer Despaigne. I'm sure maybe a few instructions from Juan Nieves. Despaigne, a little smile on his face.
Right. Well, if anything, it certainly maybe lightened the mood a little bit, right? I mean, I suppose Jose knew that was coming, but if he didn't, how could he not smile even under these circumstances, right? Put up a few runs here in the 3rd.
Well, we'll see what kind of mound visit he made.
I told you, there's good meetings and bad ones, right?
Well, Odrisamer Despaigne coaching today. Last night he was outstanding. 7 innings, a run, or actually 2 runs, putting a nice cap on a late season surge as a starting pitcher. Three runs here, an Albies double, a Suzuki homer, a Freeman triple, and a Markakis ground ball. Liner to right, Stanton is there, and he makes a catch.
Beautifully done.
Dansby Swanson lines out. Final day, 2017. One last chance to take a shot at history.
Time for our Geico this day in Major League Baseball history, 56 years ago today.
October the 1st, 1961, Yankee Stadium in New York. The man at the plate, Roger Maris. He gets set for the pitch. There's a drive going deep into the right field stands, and it's in there for Maris' 61st home run of the year.
Broke Babe Ruth's record with number 61 56 years ago today. The ball was caught by a 19-year-old fan in the outfield who met with Maris, and Maris told him to keep the ball and try to get a couple of bucks for it. He kept it for a few weeks, and a restaurateur from Sacramento purchased it for $5,000, a lot of money back in 1961, and gave the ball back to Maris. Here, I'm out here, and this is the spot to be this weekend here. Fans are slowly clamoring. You can see it starting to build up here as they get ready and hope somebody here catches number 60 from Giancarlo Stanton, yes.
All right, thank you, Craig. And Maris hit it on the final game of that season. It was the 161st game that he played in. The schedule was lengthened that year, which brought consternation from especially a lot of the New York writers who had some contact, affinity for Babe Ruth, who set his record in a 154 game season. Urania swings and misses, and he strikes out. And Max Fried now has struck out 4 in a row and 5 already. Here's D. Gordon. The season that he's compiled, the on base at 342, 308 average.
D. Gordon, 9th career game, batting 9th. He's done this before. Fried, he's already got a career high, 5 strikeouts. Of course, this is only his 9th career game.
Count 0-2. Now Billy Hamilton, who is 1 stolen base behind D for the league lead, is 0 for 2 in Chicago against the Cubs. Marlins have run into Max Fried here. The Fish handled him earlier this month. Just 23. Southern California guy. He got a breaking ball and he pulls it foul. Fastball, Gordon protecting. Nothing Atlanta, bottom 3 here. Stanton's on deck, and Gordon swings and misses. Tell you what, this is quite a run here. That's 5 consecutive strikeouts. Stan struck out back in the first. Fastball misses away.
We've seen the game plan from Fried against Stanton so far. Back to that first at bat. You're going to see 2 seamers away for the most part. You're going to see that big breaking ball at some point.
That's off the plate. Now it's a live shot of everybody out there hoping for a home run ball. That was earlier. 3-0 pitch. Stan hits it hard into right field. That's a hit. In the gap it goes. Adams over to get it, and Giancarlo has a base hit. It's what you do with that pitch. Fastball. Drive it the other way.
That is what you can do. That ball gets a little deeper. He might have been able to elevate, but let's give some respect to Fried. He's been outstanding today. Let's remember he's throwing 94, 95 miles an hour with that big hammer. Even in the hitter's count, he's got to look that way.
And the commuters are now headed back to their seats. They'll be back. Couple innings, they'll be back. Ozuna now. Miami trying to get something started against the former San Diego Padre first-round pick.
We've got 2 players in Major League Baseball this year who are going to hit 300 with 30-plus homers and 110-plus RBIs. And that right there is one of them. Marcell Ozuna, 312, 36 homers, 122 RBIs. Nolan Arenado, 309, 37, and 130. See the consistency.
Well, Fried right now having trouble finding the plate. Fell behind Stanton. He's 3-0 to Ozuna.
Well, he amped it up. I mean, he almost changed as the lineup rolled back over again a second time. You can see it in his eyes. Had a couple more miles an hour to the velocity.
Ozuna cracks one center field deep. Back goes Adams at the wall, and he's got it. Marcell Ozuna drove it to the wall in deep center field. Still 3-0 Atlanta. Let's do some T-Mobiling. Deeper coverage with T-Mobile. All right, there you go. Now, you want to make a couple predictions there, T. Holly?
Well, sure. What would you want me to do? I'll predict them all if you'd like.
All right,
I'll tell you who's going to win.
Give me your American League first.
American League? Yankees are going to win the wild card game. We'll start there. And my team going to the championship game is going to be the Yankees, obviously out of the American League, and out of the National League it's going to be the Nats. And I think the Diamondbacks will win the wild card game, and then they'll take down the Dodgers. The Nats are going to beat the Cubs.
And then the Diamondbacks?
No, and then the Nats are going to go from the National League.
All right, so you've got the Nationals and the Indians.
Woo! Nationals and Indians. That's your World Series. Book it.
I just put it down on my phone.
There you go. Who do you like?
I like you.
That's very kind of you, but that's not where I'm going.
You've had a really nice rookie season.
Well, I appreciate that.
I know you were Rookie of the Year as a Dodger, but you, as an announcer, your rookie year has been special as well.
Well, you need to fill out this bracket, so let's hear it.
I'm going Twins.
All right.
I like the Twins in that wild card game.
Okay.
I'm going Indians. I'm going Astros. I'm going Indians into the World Series.
So we agree on the conclusion there in the American League. How about the National League?
Hope, please. Over a Stanton, who's there, and he makes a catch. All right, in National League, wild card game, you know what? I'm taking a flyer on the Rockies.
Okay. You like John Gray and the Rockies, huh?
I'm taking a flyer on the Rockies.
All right.
I'll go Rockies into the next round as well.
Wow, you like momentum, huh? A little last week momentum?
I do.
The one everybody, I think the one that's 50-50 for most people. What do you got? Cubs, Nats?
I got Cubs.
You like the Cubs?
I got Cubs in the World Series, and I got the Indians getting revenge in the World Series.
How about that? Well played. It's a good script. Get a story out of that.
Yeah, well, that's why we're here. We're here for a good story.
That's right.
No rain delay. Rojas on to first. Max Fried. Out number 2. Now the next Marlins Live, brought to you by our South Florida Honda dealers. Cubs, Marlins, that's right. Cubs and Marlins open up the regular season here at Marlins Park. 2018 opening day ceremonies. We don't have a start time yet, but check your local listings when we get to March.
Plan ahead. It is a little bit earlier for everybody next year, just so you know.
It is by design, right? Because the schedule has a few more off days, thank goodness, scheduled into it.
Well, if any one series, at least for the Atlanta Braves, they were trying to build optimism that they hadn't already built, I think this young man right here probably is the bright spot in this 4-game series to conclude the year. Albies has brought it.
Brings it to Bohr, who steps on the bag, and that's the first 1-2-3 inning for Urena. 3-0 Atlanta in the 4th. Marlins baseball, Fox Sports Florida. For the final time, brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass and by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Well, you never know who you're going to find here at Marlins Park. Celebrities. The 3 on the right, famous. The 1 on the left, I can't quite place her. Can you? Looks familiar. She is the, you know what? Jessica Blaylock, I think I can confidently say, is the only member of the broadcast team to ever sit in those Diamond Club seats and enjoy all you can eat, all you can drink.
Where are those seats?
Right down below.
Oh, behind home plate?
Now, Carl Pavano did for announcers around the park, but he didn't get to go in and have all he could eat and all he could drink. At least we weren't aware of that when he was down there. But Jess is down there for the final game of 2017. That's dedication. And pulling some strings, too. Those are pretty slick seats. Yelich, Realmuto, Bohr. Max Fried's been awesome for Atlanta. 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. He's 2-2 on Yelich. Little roller. Yelich got good wheels, and he's going to beat it. Yelich has had a flurry of just getting on base, whether he's walked or been hit, or this little roller will do it as well.
Oh, no man's land on the infield for Yelich. Albies playing deep second and over. Once he gets it past Fried, he knows he's going to beat this one out. Actually starts to slow down before he gets to first base.
Marlins have had a lot of infield hits up third base line in this series. They get one up the first base line.
Speaks to their athleticism as well. We've seen it all season long. Just about every guy in this lineup can get himself an infield hit. They have speed from home to first.
Including this guy, JT Realmuto, 31 doubles, 5 triples. Fried has a good move, and Realmuto just called timeout before he broke for the plate.
JT's finishing up strong, 4 for 8 on the homestand. A very nice season, both offensively and behind the plate. 17 homers, 64 RBIs, career highs.
There's that last 4-game run for Realmuto. That's a real borderline move, and the good left-handers will step right towards the baseline or even somewhat towards the plate, and they'll keep that right toe pointed towards first to give them the illusion that they are stepping somewhat towards first. And Realmuto strikes out.
Seventh strikeout for Fried. Different approach here. Second time through the lineup. Choose that breaking ball, not nearly as much. Pitched backwards to JT right there and did a nice job of it.
Bohr now, and you got Yelich at first. Justin Bohr has enjoyed 2017 immensely.
Very productive year all the way through, start to finish. Slow April, recovered, found his stroke, found his power, used the whole field. Home run derby, I still think he's one of the most memorable parts of the home run derby, even though he was only in 1 round, right?
He had a great round.
He did. But I mean, that's the point. I mean, even that moment. I mean, Marlins Park erupted. People were buying into.
Second most first round total. But of course, because of the bracket, he ran into the champ.
Yeah, he did. But that's okay. I think this was a bit of his coming out party, and I think it was awesome to watch. Not just here locally in Miami, but nationally, he started to get some attention. And listen, there's only so much attention you can get on this roster.
Well, you saw the donut, and that was.
Well, you saw who brought it to him, too.
Right, well, it's Stan, and that he had a great donut shirt last year, and then this year, one of the T-shirt giveaways was the Bohr's Grand Slam Donut Shop with Bohr as the purveyor of all things
there
donuts.
It is.
There it is. Bob Fleming out there. There it is, Bohr's Grand Slam Donut shirt.
Nicely done, Bob.
Anderson now, and the Marlins have got some traffic on. Really for the first significant time against Max Fried. They had a runner aboard in the first with 2 outs. And one at first in the third with 2 outs. Anderson shoots it foul.
Anderson's had a very productive September. The ins and outs, the ups and downs, the opportunity to play every day at the major league level. And his handful of starts. What's impressed me the most is not only the big games, much like last night, but even those little games where he was down and at times maybe a little overmatched. Made some great in-game adjustments.
Lines it to center. Adams there. And Lane Adams makes the catch. Good swing there. And there's 2 outs. Miguel Rojas. Oh, that's right. Parkland's own opens here. The Marlins and the Cubs next March 29th. Our coverage starts that night with Marlins Live.
Well, according to your bracket, it'll go something like this. This Cubs team is on fire because they just lost the World Series. I like it.
Rojas rolls it out to short. Swanson flips it to Albies. Miami leaves a couple in a 3-0 Atlanta lead.
Telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Giancarlo Stanton has a base hit, but not a home run yet. 3-0 Atlanta. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, no matter what, Rich, it's been a huge season for All-Star Smiles. This is Dr. Craig Spodak. He's the head and Giancarlo's favorite charity. It really is a neat thing. Tell us about that All-Star Smiles. 3 years going now.
Okay, so All-Star Smiles started because Giancarlo got hit with that famous 95-mile-an-hour fastball to the face, broke a bunch of teeth. We repaired his teeth, and our relationship formed from that. He was interested in the charity we're doing. And the number one reason why a child will miss school, the number one reason why a child will go to the emergency room is from dental pain. So we have an epidemic in this country. Giancarlo recognizes it, and we formed an alliance to spread this message across the nation.
Yeah, they're going nationwide, and Giancarlo will come into the office, and you tell me you have some long days when he's there, but he's very particular about this charity. He really enjoys it.
Yeah, you know, I think Giancarlo was one of those kids growing up. He grew up in California, didn't have the affluence and connections he has now, and he was one of those kids that had dental pain, and it's near and dear to his heart. It's not about the cameras being on. This is something that he really expresses as his own desire, and even when the cameras are not there, we have 80 to 100 kids, and it's wonderful. He's in there with each child. My daughter's been with him as well, you know, holding the hands of the children while we do complicated procedures, extractions, everything.
That is neat, and this year he is donating $1,000 for the home run, so he's at $59,000. Hopefully he can get over the $60,000 mark, but that'll be great.
Let's get $65,000.
Why not? Go to extra innings.
Yeah, why not? That'd be great. I mean, the guy has a heart of gold. It's an honor to be affiliated with him. It's not just, it's really near and dear to his heart. It's a beautiful thing.
And you mentioned not only here in South Florida, but you're starting to catch on with, you're into 10 dentists now around the country.
Yeah, so our goal is obviously there's hundreds of thousands of children affected by this nationwide. So our goal is to make this a nationwide charity, allstarsmiles.org. If you're a dentist, you want to get involved, or maybe you want to give some money, it's a 501c3. All the money goes directly to the children. We have only one employee, so it's a very efficient charity.
Well, that is great. And you guys yourselves are out of Delray?
Yeah, our office is based in Delray Beach, Southern Florida, but we have a guy in New York already, a guy in California. So if you're a dentist out there, come on board, open up your doors, and help the children that need us.
Well, that's great to see, and thanks, Doctor. Great work. And I know you did everybody would admit you did a great job with Giancarlo too. Was that difficult? That day?
Well, that was hard because a fastball, like a ball like that, to me would have killed me or you. Yeah. But Giancarlo is such a superhuman. He took it like a champ, broke a couple teeth, but we patched him back up pretty quickly.
Great job. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
I don't think people get a chance to see the other side of Giancarlo very often. They see the home runs, obviously. They see his size. And as the good doctor said, some people see him as superhuman. But, you know, his story is just a really fascinating one. Growing up in Los Angeles, a three-sport athlete, was not an elite baseball player, played on those elite travel ball teams. His dad, so proud of him, and Giancarlo so proud of his dad. You saw him the other night give him a fist bump. To one pitch, a changeup. Freeman swings and misses. And everything the doctor said is 100% accurate. Having watched Stanton and having worked myself with the Marlins charity partners, that is an incredible program. To left and deep, Ozuna squares up and makes the catch.
Now let me say this about Stanton. I played this game for 12 years. I've been around a lot of stars, Hall of Famers, and I obviously have been broadcasting now here with you with the Marlins, and have been in broadcasting for the last 8 seasons with some stars up in Chicago as well. He is one of the most gracious superstars I've ever been around. He makes more time for other people. A lot of times what happens when stars reach that level, they become very private. They become very secluded, very guarded. He is just the opposite, which I am amazed at. The more attention he gets, he seems to embrace it, and he seems to express himself even more through all of that. Not just his charities and everything else that he's involved in, just merely signing autographs before a game. I mean, you don't realize how many superstars kind of go the other way. He has honestly gotten more visible as the attentions come his way, and I'm not just saying in front of a camera. I'm just talking about being out and about here at Marlins Park.
Nick Markakis at the plate, and he gets a hole there. He had smacked one hard for an out to the left side his first time up. He shoots it through that gap. Runners at first and second, one out here, 5th inning. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Just heard from Craig Minervini. Jessica Blaylock is with us, sort of. She's in the house. enjoying a day off in the Diamond Club seats. I feel like we should get a report about, you know, what food they're serving. What's the best drink down there? Won the count on Lane Adams. That Reds-Cubs game is in the 5th. Dustin McGowan's in Miami's bullpen. Oh, they don't let Espana use the phone, though. The acting pitching coach.
You go out and talk to him, but you're not allowed to pick up the phone?
Well, I mean, maybe there's some procedures that maybe he's not authorized.
Maybe Espana told him to do it.
Yes. Hey, call down there.
Call down the bullpen.
AJ Ellis managing. Martin Prado bench coach. Odrisamer Despaigne pitching coach. That Reds game 1-0 in the 5th. Billy Hamilton's 0 for 2 and no stolen bases. Hasn't been on base.
The Milwaukee Brewers are finishing with a bit of a flourish. They're up 4-0 on St. Louis. Saw the highlights from yesterday's ball game. I'm sure there was some frustration there as they were up 6-0 at one point in that game. A bunch of defensive plays that had not been made really was their downfall. St. Louis came back, won the ball game 7-6 and eliminated them from the postseason, but they are bouncing back again today in St. Louis.
Two is fouled at the plate. One retirement in baseball from a name that most of you have never heard. Kevin Kremen. If you were in the Northwest, you've heard his name. Longtime producer for Seattle Mariners radio. He is retiring today. That one fouled back to the screen. Talk about highly regarded. That guy, critically acclaimed. Highly regarded. And he's had an incredible run. Speaking of retirements, some stirring shots yesterday of Matt Cain when he pitched and pitched well. 5 scoreless innings in San Francisco. And when he was done, when Bruce Bochy removed him from the game, he stopped at the baseline, soaked it all in, huge ovation. And then the Giants bullpen proceeded to lose the ball game. But still, and that was,
well, it was Matt Cain's moment. It wasn't not the game so much anymore. Just change up there by Urania. You're right. I thought the reaction to Cain was outstanding. I mean, he had such a long and lengthy career. There was such a big part of everything that they did. Such an appreciative fan base, that San Francisco group.
And look, I mean, that was kind of Matt Cain's career in terms of wins and losses. He was one of those guys that always had a great ERA, never got run support, and did not wow you with wins and losses, but had some outstanding postseasons.
Spent his entire career in one uniform.
That doesn't happen very often. Rio Ruiz is up. Runners first and second. 2 outs here in the 5th. Real Muto figures he'd take a shot. Nifty pick there by Rojas. Suzuki down.
He wasn't anticipating this.
he's a magician.
Who, Rojas or Suzuki?
Well, Rojas.
It looked a little bit like an act, didn't it?
Rojas, but he needed an assistant, right?
right?
Every magician needs a trusty assistant.
Yeah, I don't think Suzuki would be part of the next act.
No, I don't think he's coming back for the evening show.
Suzuki sitting out there going, really? Game 162? JT's done it 5 times this year, picked a runner off second base.
This is the last inning for Urania at 102 pitches, 2 outs. McCowan's ready in the pen if this inning goes much longer. '96 with a fastball. Billy Hamilton is now 0 for 3. And so he's not had a chance to even attempt a stolen base. D. Gordon in this ball game, if you're just wandering by, is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Has a 1 stolen base lead over Hamilton. Ozuna's back there, and he makes the catch. Giancarlo Stanton due up third. 3-0 Atlanta. Yeah, that was number 50. Now, if you thought that was hard, the ball Stanton hit earlier today, that single to right field. All right, you're probably sitting at home. You said, hey, he got all of that. And it just a shot up through the infield into right field. It's the hardest ball ever recorded by StatCast. 122.2 miles an hour.
See it again. I don't see it, but I don't doubt it. How about that?
Well, it's measured from off bat till it hits the infield grass.
Sure.
But 122.2 is ridiculous. Tyler Moore is getting the at bat here to lead it off for the Marlins in the 5th. Then you got D. Gordon, then you've got Stanton.
Well, think we are ever surprised at exit velocity from Stanton any longer after this season. If there was any doubt prior to this season, but he has done it time and time again.
Moore fouls that one off. And they count 1-2. Jose Urena done for the season. Moore's ground ball finds left field. And a start to the 5th. Now, one of your favorite home runs. Pittsburgh.
Well, Rich, you promised me early on this season that my jaw would hit the floor at least a couple times. I think this was like number 1 or 2. Having played in the National League for a large portion of my career, over 10 years of my career, take many rounds of batting practice in Pittsburgh, played many games there. Nobody comes close to that, and he did it in a game. You're right, that's about the first or second time my jaw hit the floor, up and over the batter's eye in Pittsburgh.
Stanton watching Max Fried from on deck. D. Gordon struck out in the 3rd. Tyler Moore at 1st. And D with a base hit to right field. Moore around 2nd, on his way to 3rd. Gordon holds there. And it's 1st and 3rd, and here comes Stanton with nobody out.
They'll pick it on the breaking ball. We've seen it enough times now, and how it works. The higher it sits in the zone, the more you've got a chance of putting it in play hard. Last 2 breaking balls have been squared up. Nice swing of the bat by D. Gordon as he rips one into right field and sets up Giancarlo Stanton. Remember, this is a 3-0 ball game. Fried has been outstanding today. He's got no wiggle room here. D. Gordon at first base, Tyler Moore at 3rd.
Crowd gathered deep left field. Stanton swings and misses, takes a rip there, and it's 0-1. Home run rate, major league leader. Fastball misses away. Now he saw Fried earlier and took him deep as he laid waste to SunTrust Park in that series.
That was a 92-mile-an-hour 4-seam fastball. Stanton all over it that day. He has not seen the 4-seam fastball yet today. It's the first one.
Well,
right there.
When you watch Giancarlo Stanton, you see things that you've not yet seen in your life. We saw earlier the crowd gathering out there in left field. Stanton hitting the hardest ball ever in the StatCast era, the single to right field. 122 miles an hour off the bat. At the corners, nobody out. Fried. 1-2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
You almost see Fried open up a little bit on that 2-seam fastball. You can see it. You know, he's really trying to push it to the outside corner at 96. He's got high velocity. This young man's got a very, very good arm. But you can tell on what kind of action he's searching for against Stanton. He does not want this leaking back to the corner. So he's kind of dialed it in on the outside part. You see Suzuki setting up on that outside corner, and then he's trying to throw that 2-seamer that just keeps running away from Stanton. Again, he's really only seen the one fastball, which was a couple of pitches ago. He could have done something with. That was the only 4-seamer.
Breaking ball hammered into center. That's a base hit. Moore will score. Gordon racing for 3rd, and Stanton has his 2nd hit, and that one jumped off the bat. And it's 3-1 Atlanta.
Now a breaking ball. We continue to talk about it. This is 3 now. Marlins have now hit hard.
And that adds an RBI. Stanton 132 driven in this year. Nolan Arenado at 130 is not driven in a run today. Colorado down 3-0 to the Dodgers. 101 miles an hour off the bat. Chuck Hernandez. And Arenado has come out of that ball game, by the way, in Denver. Jason Mott in Atlanta's bullpen. So Stanton is swinging it well. I mean, he's hit 2 balls right on the nose. Stanton and D. Gordon across the diamond from each other having a dialogue right now. And 3 consecutive hits has given Miami a run. Brought Ozuna to the plate. He blasted one to the wall in straightaway center for an out.
Well, let's be honest now. Listen, Fried has not really given Stanton a whole lot to hit today, but he's had good swings. He's had good at bats. This could pay off. It could pay dividends later in this ball game. We know he's got at least 1 or 2 more at bats coming his way. We'll see if it does. Marcell Ozuna so routinely uses the middle of the field right here in this situation.
Little dribbler towards Albie. Stanton will stop. The pivot not in time, and Miami gets another run. Gordon comes across. And it's a 3-2 ball game. And Ozuna knocks in his 123rd of the season.
Now, what an incredible run he has had this season. A solid finish to a great year. Contact up the middle, a little slow to the right side, unable to turn 2. Stanton does a nice job right there, just stopping and getting out of the way. Marcell beats it out, picks up that RBI. D. Gordon scores another run.
And here's Yelich. Ozuna, last man standing at first base. Miami cashes in twice. Urania has already been lifted from the game. And Yelich sends it in the hole. Swanson throws it away. Ozuna headed for third. Ball gets further away. Here comes Ozuna to the plate. Freeman's throw, and he's in there. And the game's tied just like that.
How about it, man? This Marlins team has played so well at home this year. Remember, they had that real rough patch back in May, but since then have recovered. Turned this into a winning environment. Going to be a base hit and an error on Swanson. As you see right there, never gets a grip on the baseball. Momentum away from second base, so nothing working in his favor. And as he gets rid of this one, double clutches. Albies can't do anything to keep it on the infield. Once it wanders down that right field corner, everybody off to the races.
And Max Fried, who was shutting down the Marlins for the first 3 innings of this ball game, has been lifted from the game. The error by Dansby Swanson. It's a hit for Yelich, and a Florida lottery called to the pen. 3-3 ball game. Enter your Lotto Fantasy 5 or all-new Fast Play ticket in the Florida Lottery Game Day Cash promotion. You can win a 2018 Lazy Days RV motorhome, over $200,000 in cash prizes, bowl tickets, season tickets, and more. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Jason Mott for JT Realmuto. Roller to short, Swanson, runner coming home, Yelich is in there. Great break by Yelich. And Swanson, who just threw one into right field, took a look and decided to get the out at first.
We've applauded Christian Yelich all season long about his base running. Great instincts, great read, great anticipation, moving on contact. It's all about the break. Good first step. That's what gets Swanson the only out at first base.
And the guy that appreciates that the most is Realmuto. That gets him an RBI. Fastball misses out. In the flurry of the inning, with Stanton's RBI single, there's Realmuto. Stanton at 132. We noted that Arenado started, has not driven in a run, and now he's out of the game. And so Giancarlo Stanton is going to win the RBI crown.
First ever. Congratulations to the big guy, Giancarlo Stanton. Fantastic season, really redefined maybe the 2 spot in the lineup.
First time a Marlin has ever led the National League in RBIs.
There you go. Well deserved. You know who else loved that RBI right there?
A.J. Ellis.
Jose Urena.
Oh, there you go. You're right. I think Urena's manager appreciates it.
Well, sure he does. He wants to win. So does Urena. He's got a shot at, what is it, 15?
A.J. Ellis right now is managing the ball club. He'd like to be 1-0.
For Urena, in a day in which he didn't have his best stuff, he hung in there and got through 5.
Boy, a little tapper out towards short. A lot of business for Swanson in the inning. And he throws him out. Well, Miami rises up, puts 4 on the board, and leads at 4-3. In that 4-run inning, another RBI for Giancarlo Stanton. And our Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. The only guy that can catch him now is Marcell Ozuna. Nolan Arenado's out of the game. Well, I guess if Goldschmidt knocked in a dozen, but that ain't going to happen.
Well, but Stanton's sitting in front of him, too, so you know what I mean? And by the way, he's going for homers.
That's true. Stan's had 2 scorching singles in this game.
Sure.
Dustin McGowan takes over. And you're right, if the bullpen can bring this home, that would be a nice finish for Jose Urena and win number 15. Dansby Swanson. He'll take a fastball for a strike.
McGowan pitched a few days ago, pitched well, came in, got an out, strikeout in fact, looking to finish this season strong. Leads this Marlins bullpen in wins and innings pitched.
Swanson shoots it to right field.
2017 is coming to a close, but we're already getting excited about 2018. Join us next season for matchups against the Yankees, the Red Sox, and opening day against the Cubs. Visit marlins.com/2018 schedule to check out the full calendar. We'll see you in the spring.
Spring training will be here shortly. The Marlins under new management and leadership and ownership. That always makes for a very interesting spring training and a much anticipated one as well. And that's something, you open your season against not just the Cubs, but also the Red Sox come in here.
Get your attention pretty quick. You better be on your game, right?
Jace Peterson up. Swanson at first. And McGowan misses outside. Derek Jeter here today. A lot of friends, family. Bruce Sherman here, the ownership group in the house. Count 3-1. It's been a great defensive season for the Marlins. Of course, when you got Perry Hill, the infield gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. The infield's played quite well this year. The outfield, as well as hitting and slugging and all of that, has been outstanding, and they've taken away some long balls this year.
Yeah, it's been a real joy, a real treat for me as a former outfielder to watch the three really get after it. How about Marcell Ozuna timing the leap and climbing up on the wall and bringing one back? How about the big guy? How about that catch? That's the end of baseball game right there, people. That's the effort that you see late in a ball game. How about this one? My all-time favorite on the season, Christian Yelich. My goodness, how in the world did that ball stay in his glove? He did it a few times. Special teams, special guys. I'll tell you, it's not just offensive with the three of them. They all can go get it.
Micah Johnson is going to hit for the Braves. Atlanta has something going here with nobody out. He's going to bunt for the Braves. That's a great bunt, and it takes a left turn and goes foul.
Well, this is an outstanding bunt off the bat. The minute it hits the grass, it's got some of that side spin. You see, as soon as it comes off the edge of the grass, it actually accelerates and goes foul. It's a pretty good bunt by Johnson. Well, this Marlins bullpen, it's got some work to do. McGowan here, he's in a little bit of a mess, but they've been good this series. 11 1/3 innings, 1 run.
This bunt, McGowan kicks it, picks it, and throws him out. It goes as a sacrifice, and up comes Ozzie Albies. If you've happened by this game and you're wondering why we keep showing that A.J. Ellis is on that front rail, he's managing. It's a tradition that Don Mattingly got from Joe Torre. Martin Prado to his left is the acting bench coach. If he needs help, Freddie might offer some. But further down the rail, Don Mattingly and Tim Wallen, two guys that run the game for 161 of the 162. Gordon sliding stop. Braves are going to tie the game on this ground ball out. Albies gets the RBI. Swanson comes across. Suzuki, two-run homer. It's a breaking ball out. I'm not sure at the start of the season, if you asked the baseball experts who would have the best offensive output from the catcher position in the National League, that they would have said, you know, those two Brave guys are going to combine for a slew of home runs.
No, you wouldn't have gotten that answer. Most of the time you're targeting one individual. You're saying, all right, who's going to give you the 15 to 16 home runs, maybe 20 from, you know, maybe Buster Posey or somebody like that.
Suzuki knocks one up into the seats. And this stretches back from Oakland to Washington to Minnesota. Tyler Flowers with a dozen. Kurt Suzuki with 19. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Real Muto picks it, tags him out, but the Braves draw even. And a 4-4 game in the sixth. Tough guy to catch for a walk-off celebration. Make sure you're with us after the ball game on Marlins Live. 2017 end of season video spectacular. So good that they had to rename it today. Dan Winkler is in the ball game for Atlanta. Winkler's had a solid albeit short stay in the big leagues.
Very impressive run for Winkler. 1 home run allowed, a little over 13 innings pitched. He's also racked up 16 strikeouts.
Brian Anderson leading it off. Rojas, pitcher spot, then Gordon. Giancarlo is due up 5th in this inning. The Marlins can get something rolling, and they certainly did in the 5th, knocking out Max Fried after 4 1/3. That would be strike 3. Winkler gets a strikeout.
The annual MVP internship job fair is being held at Marlins Park on Thursday, October 19th from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Candidates can interview in a variety of areas such as ballpark operations, broadcasting, corporate partnerships, and sales and marketing. For more information, visit marlins.com/jobs.
Strike to Rojas. Miguel, who had the big night last night, 0 for 2. 6 hits for both teams, 4 runs for both teams. Ichiro is on deck, so that pinch hitting opportunity for Ichiro is going to come here. Rojas fouls it off. MLB.com is reporting, sources are saying that Terry Collins will resign as Mets manager and move into a position in the front office. So 2 managerial changes in the division. And of course, you're not sure, and we noted it earlier with Atlanta. Brian Snitker hasn't been told if he's coming back or not. In Atlanta, I think Dusty Baker's pretty safe in DC. Don Mattingly does not know what 2018 will bring.
In both instances, both in New York and Philadelphia, both of the current managers are being reassigned or taking other positions inside the organization, so it's not just a complete dismissal. Terry Collins has already mentioned that he'll be moving to the front office.
He's had a really nice run with the Mets, and always enjoyed speaking with him before games. Roller up the middle into center field, a base hit for Rojas. Well, that does one thing. That the hit here is it keeps the first baseman anchored at first for the Ichiro at bat, maybe opening that right side up a little more. Ichiro the other day said he wants to play next year. In fact, he wants to play till he's 50. That's a goal, and never put anything past Ichiro. He's 43. This is a pinch hitting opportunity. He is 1 pinch hit shy of the all-time major league record for pinch hits in a season. Got a pretty good fastball there for strike 1. And Ichiro fouls it back. Boy, for something like this where you're gunning for a record, pinch hit at bats happen quickly.
Yep.
This thing must feel like it's on warp speed for him. Nice ovation, gets in the box, and suddenly it's 0-2.
Well, Winkler's gone right at him, though. He's challenged him with a couple of fastballs. First one up and out. That one a little bit more towards the middle.
Fastball up. It's 1-2.
Seems to be taking it all in stride. Hasn't really gotten out of his game plan over his last few pitch hit appearances.
Holds on a fastball that's up. And they count 2-2. And of course, he is one hit shy of Cap Anson for 21st all time as far as hits go. So a lot can happen with one swing of the bat. Stanton stretching. Is two hitters away with one out here at the bottom of the 6th. And now Ichiro getting a little deeper into the at bat, so he's been able to see more pitches, take some cuts.
Winkler's gone right at him. He's giving him a few fastballs.
2-2. That one dribbles off to the on-deck circle.
It's funny, I didn't even think about that. You know, looking at the hole to the right side, I'm thinking fastball. Where's he going to go? Is it going to be over the shortstop's head? And I keep thinking, you know what? We've seen it this series. There might be a slow roller down the third baseline that could be 28, right? Almost got it on the last one.
And he's hanging in there.
As he usually does.
Ichiro got to 3,000 late last year. He'll get to Cooperstown 5 years after he says that's enough. Whether it's after he's 50 or after this year, you just don't know. 2-2.
Well, where will you be 12 years from now?
I don't know where I'll be 12 months from now.
He wants to play till he's 50.
Two. That's in. That's a good take. And it's 3-2. Rojas at first. See if he's moving. He runs, and Ichiro hits a fly ball down the left field line. Peterson is there and in foul territory, makes the catch. And for Ichiro, there'll be no record this year. He has enough of them to fill an entire wing of his house, but not the pinch hit season record. He ends at 27. John Vanderwall's record of 28.
Safe for now.
Safe for now. But you never know. Maybe next year when he's 44.
Circumstances are the same here in Miami. Expect somewhere near the same number of opportunities to come his way as well. Part of the problem as far as Ichiro is concerned and all those pinch hit at bats is the incredible production this Marlins outfield has put out there this year. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. The other thing that really hasn't been mentioned, I know I haven't mentioned it, so I will now because I'm running out of time. The health of this team offensively has been outstanding, especially the outfielders. I mean, there's been a few guys that have missed some time, but when you kind of talk about the key components to how everything's worked all season long, from D. Gordon to the outfield, JT Realmuto, health has been important, and it's been there.
0-2 to D. Gordon. And Gordon strikes out. Winkler gets the punch out. 4-4 ball game, headed to the 7th in Miami on the final day of 2017. Flies out in his pinch hit appearances. But guess what? One of our best moments was in Seattle, where Ichiro made his name in the big leagues. His final at bat there on Ichiro Day with Ichiro bobbleheads, and he knocked one out and took a long, slow trot and enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, couldn't have done it in a better place than Seattle, where he started his legacy. Certainly has carried on all the way to the other side of the country and south down to Miami. But that day, I mean, that home run that he hit, that was 93-mile-an-hour fastball up at his letters, and I thought, oh man, because I think there were a few signs early on that maybe he wasn't catching up to the fastball the same way, and then out of nowhere just jumped on some velocity up top and rode it right out. Back to that home run in Philadelphia that he hit as well. It was Aaron Nola, I believe he got that day.
Junichi Tazawa gets the 7th. This was a Jose Urena start. And a fastball up. Freeman has doubled, has tripled, has flied out. On a hop, Gordon. Tazawa has the first out in the 7th for Junichi Tazawa, the bullpen and the rotation. The complete opposite of what you pointed out with the everyday lineup, and especially the outfield, and that is good health in 2017. Far from it for just about everybody on the mound,
right,
as far as the Marlins were concerned, especially the two frontline starters, Edinson Volquez and Wei-Yin Chen.
And it was, you know, those injuries and those some performances really put a strain on the rest of the rotation. I think that's probably where, you know, if you were focusing in on the Marlins, you believe that their pitching probably had to be close to perfect. In fact, this was going to turn into a season where maybe they would think about getting to the playoffs. You looked at the offense and think, okay, there's probably a little bit give and take there, as good and as deep as they are. With the loss of Jose last year, and then obviously moving into this season, you kind of put some emphasis on the late innings and pitching a different way. because of that significant loss, and it just never really developed. It just put a lot of strain on the bullpen. There were a lot of extra innings down there for guys that didn't really step into those roles and stake claim to them.
Tazawa certainly had an uneven start.
And that's tough on a manager. It really is, when you look down to your bullpen and you're trying to predict what you might get that day. And I say it all the time. Any manager will tell you, give me 25 guys who I know and understand, and I can gauge what they're going to bring to the table every day, and I can manage a ball club pretty simply. When there's those unpredictabilities, and I think the bullpen had a lot of it going on early on this season, it creates for tough decisions that are made in each and every ball game.
Tazawa misses outside. By the way, the Reds, of course, are taking on the Cubs. That's one of the things that we've been watching is D. Gordon in the stolen base race. Now D in the ball game has been aboard once, had a single, scored a run in the 5th. Billy Hamilton, who was 1 behind D, is 0 for 4. And so far, D. Gordon has that lead in the stolen base race. It's 3-0 Reds, top of the 8th inning. So no stolen bases for Hamilton and none yet for D. Gordon. Full count, 3-2. Giancarlo Stanton will lead off in the bottom of this inning. Boy, Markakis has had good swings with not a lot of great results lately, although 2 line drive hits in this ball game.
Steady as they come, they say. Markakis has been that for the Braves throughout his career.
Lane Adams now, who was 0 for 3. Noah Syndergaard did make it back and pitched 2 scoreless innings today against the Phillies to close out his season. He hit 101 on the gun in that short appearance. Rockies and Diamondbacks have set their pitchers for the wild card game, and no surprise, 2 G's, Gray and Greinke. And those 2 teams train in the same minor league complex. They know each other quite well. That's in the center field. Round second, headed for third is Markakis. He's going to get there. Colorado and Arizona played 19 times, and Arizona won that series 11-8. And those 2 teams, Arizona and Colorado, the only 2 teams to beat the Dodgers in a season series this year. They both did.
Well, they had to. Somebody had to be making up those games in that division. I mean, all 3 teams have made it to the postseason in the year in which the Dodgers had run so far out in front of everybody. Everybody was kind of scratching their heads going, how in the world are these 3 teams all doing it at the exact same time? I can promise you this, having just been there in Arizona, I'm going to guess that it's going to be a pretty wild environment for that wild card game.
Shallow center, Rojas out. Runner tags at third, then holds. That's the second out here in the top of the 7th. Dansby Swanson coming up. Every weekday morning, wake up to Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp as they go head-to-head on the hottest sports topics. 9:30 a.m. to noon Eastern, only on FS1. I guess if you wake up to Skip Bayless at 9:30, that you've had quite a night.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Swanson a base hit the other way last time up. What Tazawa chooses to do. It was on first and third.
A 4-4 game here. Stanton will lead it off bottom 7. Tazawa trying to keep it even until then. Tazawa's fallen behind here 3-0. .3 start. Every game started at 3. Which adds to an interesting symmetry on the final day. Now you can see, all right, is anybody done yet? Who's the fastest game going? And no finals yet. You've got a bottom of the 9th at Yankee Stadium, 2-1 Toronto. You've got top 9 in St. Louis, 6-1 Milwaukee. Cubs bottom 8 trailing Cincinnati 3-0. Runner goes, and it's foul back. Who's the slow poke today? That would be the Pirates and the Nationals. That was a messy game early. Gio got tagged for 5 runs.
Yeah, they started before we did.
That's right. They actually had a 3 or 4 minute jump. Right. 6-4 Pirates in DC. That's top 6. Bottom 6 in Minnesota. And bottom 6 in Philly. 3-2 line into center field. That's a hit. Runner was moving, and on his way to third is Adams. Swanson unties the game. It's 5-4 now.
Swanson's 2 best at bats of the series have been his last 2. Base hit the other way. This a fastball up out over the plate, rips it into center field for the go-ahead run here in the 7th. Adams on the move, able to get all the way over to third base.
And A.J. Ellis, manager of the Fish, will make a change. Junichi Tazawa exits. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. A.J. Ellis having to make a pitching change. Junichi Tozawa came in to pitch here in the 7th, gave up 3 hits and a run and the lead. Harlan Garcia, or excuse me,
Adonis Garcia is going to get this pinch hit appearance.
I saw the Garcia note. I thought he was up in the bullpen. Adonis Garcia at the plate.
2 for 18 since returning from the disabled list.
Justin Nicolino trying to settle things down here in the 7th, get this last out. Not a great year for Garcia. 32-year-old Cuban. Played 7 years in Cuba. And then signed with the Yankees. Spent 4 years in the minor leagues with the Yanks. Giancarlo Stanton having some difficulty there in right field. There was a baseball out on the field. He tried to throw it up to a fan, and it was not secured, and the seats came back to the field. Got to make the play when you are clamoring for a souvenir. At the corners here, run across, and a 5-4 Atlanta lead. Garcia hits in the air to center, hits it deep. Yelich in full flight, looking up, and that ball is gone. Adonis Garcia, 3-run pinch hit homer. And what was a 4-4 game disintegrates here. 8-4 now, Atlanta on top.
Garcia is going to get a changeup. In fact, he saw a few changeups in this sequence. He's going to stay through this one and drive it away. Straight away center field. All right, see the circle change out of the hand. Watch the extension, loses that top end right there just to get a little bit more.
Sunshine and flamingos for that home run. And that's it for Justin Nicolino. Another Florida lottery call to the bullpen. 8-4 Atlanta. On closing day here, we've been talking about all the highs and lows. The highs, certainly the outfield. Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna, the year that those guys have had. And the lows for the Marlins on the mound. And in particular here, the bullpen.
Well, Javi Guerra's been throwing the ball pretty well. He's go up over 20 innings of work. Nice job keeping the ball in the yard. Pretty solid ERA as the season wraps up. You mentioned that outfield, Rich. They have been outstanding. Look at this. Stanton, 159 games played. Ozuna, 159 games played. Yelich, 156 games played. Combined, 103 home runs, 337 RBIs. Best in baseball.
There was that discussion a couple years ago. Which team had the best young outfield? Was it the Pirates? Marte, McCutchen, Polanco? Was it the Marlins? Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton? That's gone from who has the best young outfield to who has the best outfield in the game. And I don't know that there's anyone that is better than Miami's trio.
I don't believe there is.
D. Gordon calling, and D. Gordon catching. Long half inning, 4 runs for the Braves. But strap in, kids. Giancarlo coming to the plate. 2 hits, 2 loud hits. Still searching for 60. Stanton drives it deep left field. 48 is out of here. Stanton drives this one right field. That's deep. Flashes back. 49 is out of here. He can't be stopped. Giancarlo, a one-man wrecking crew. Marcell Ozuna up in a big spot. Ozuna, left field. That ball's deep. Get out of here. Gone. 3-run shot. Big Bear. Big fly. And the Marlins are back on top. High point for the Fish. 3 over. Remember, they were 13 under before racing on that Players Weekend. That big sweep. A lot of home runs. A lot of big moments as 2017 comes to a close. Lane Adams is in left. Ender Inciarte, still nursing a sore thumb, is in center. Jim Johnson on the mound.
You see the work for the year. 56 innings Making his 61st appearance. The 7 home runs allowed. Now he's given up 3 in his last 10 appearances. Pitched in last night's ball game as well. A clean inning, struck out 2.
Fans gathering, getting their spot. Stanton at bat coming up. You're just happening by. Giancarlo Stanton in the leadoff spot. Struck out in the first. In the third, on a ground ball single to right, he hit the hardest ball ever recorded by StatCast, 122 miles an hour. In the fifth, he lined a shot into center to knock in a run, his 132nd RBI, securing the National League RBI crown. And here is Johnson. And takes a fastball low and in. Johnson threw last night.
One pitch, one spot.
And it's 1-2. Johnson struck Stanton out looking last night.
Swung a 2-seam fastball 3 times in a row. 2 to the inside corner, 1 to the outside corner. Doubled up inside.
Sitting on 59. And running out of time. He's taken a couple. 1 down and 1 in. And the count's 3-2. Stan goes after a pitch down low. Swanson fires it over to first. And Giancarlo is out.
Still going to get another shot, at least by my estimations. I know mathematically right now it doesn't say that he will, but I mean, goodness, you have a couple outs here in the 7th, obviously the 8th and the 9th if the score holds. So there's still an opportunity. And if there is an uprising and they, you know, make this, let's say, an 8-8 ball game, of course he would obviously get up again.
Watch Fox Tracks. Now it's a 3-2 count. All the previous pitches, and that one was just down. As Ozuna takes a strike.
Well, Johnson, he stayed to his strength. I told you that 2-seam fastball even last night is where he wants to go, and that's the pitch you're going to see the most of the time. Marcell Ozuna will see it the same way.
Nothing in the box.
Right around the box.
If you're trying to be patient, and if you're trying to wait for your pitch, and you're looking for something in the box, One and 2 to Ozuna. Marcell Ozuna, center field. That's deep. Inciarte back at the wall. Gone! 37 for Ozuna.
Man, oh man, is he had a season. What a year for Marcell Ozuna. So much had been made about his second half and living up to the hype that he builds for himself in the first, the all-star performance. He has brought it the entire second half all the way to, well, the last game of the season. Number 37 on the year.
Yelich takes a fastball out. Now, there's the Ozuna box. Remember, we were looking for something in the box?
Right. Well, his name is not Giancarlo Stanton. That's the problem here. I had mentioned I threw it out for a very specific reason. Johnson has been making mistakes here of late. He hasn't been locked down 8th inning guy, 7th, 8th inning guy of late. 3 home runs, last 10 appearances. But when Stanton stepped into the box, you saw the pause, you saw the tempo. Johnson 4 pitches up in the zone to Marcell, 6 pitches down to Stanton.
Down and in or out.
Right. Well, he did not go after him. He wasn't like, okay, here you go. He's like, if you're going to hit me out, you're going to hit my best 2-seam fastball, and it's going to be down.
Yelich takes fastball for a strike, counts 2-2. Well, one thing the home run does, if the Marlins are still trailing and it goes to the bottom of the ninth, that assures Stanton of an at-bat now. And for them to make up a 3-run deficit, you would expect he'd get an at-bat as well. So.
Right. Exactly right. He's going to get another crack at this in the ninth.
Pitch is out. Yelich has been an on-base machine these last few ball games. He's been on base 4 times with 2 hits, a walk, and a hit batter in this one. Last night, he walked twice and singled. That helps the on-base percentage.
Steady as they come.
JT Realmuto is 0 for 3 with an RBI. Johnson, big guy, and it takes him a while to get to the plate. Although Miami is down 3 runs. Johnson now 3-0, and you got a big bat on deck. Justin Bour, a lefty, is ready in Atlanta's pen.
Well, he represents the tying run if JT can get on base. Last game of the year is turning into a bit of a slugfest here at Marlins Park.
Realmuto, a chopper to third. Out there. Albies covering. Yelich erased. Ruiz gets that lead runner. And here's Bour. And here comes Brian Snitker. So the Braves going to make a pitching change. 2 outs, 8-5 Atlanta. Bottom 7. Florida Lottery called to the pen. Marcell Ozuna is homered here in the 7th. But Miami is still 3 runs shy of the Braves, and A.J. Minter is selected to pitch to Justin Moore. Moore's 0 for 2 with a walk. Realmuto, good speed at first. And Moore takes outside.
Minter's had a very good season for the Atlanta Braves.
Moore hits a high pop. And that's backing out of play. That went foul back to the screen. Earlier today, Giancarlo Stanton knocked in a run. Nolan Arenado started and then came out without driving in a run. And so Stanton is the RBI champ of the National League. D. Gordon a stolen base ahead of Billy Hamilton when play started today. D hasn't stolen a base, but neither has Hamilton, and that game is over. And so D. Gordon wins the National League stolen base crown, the 3rd time he's done it in his career. And of course, Marcell Ozuna is having quite a season. And on the final day of 2017, he adds to it with his 37th homer. Ozuna, Yelich, and Giancarlo. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. First of all, thank you to everybody that's watched throughout the season. This has been may have been some disappointments along the way on the field for sure, but in the booth, I'm proud to say it. We've had a fun year.
We've had a great time up here, haven't we? It's been a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, the season got off to a rough start. I think back to May, and you and I were talking, if we could survive May, we could survive anything, right? And I'm not just talking on the field. I'm talking up here in the booth. It's when they lose, we feel the losses, and we feel a lot of those losses. And May got trying, didn't it? And then they bounced back. They got all the way back to 3 games over 500, and the run has been an incredible one to watch. And then you've got the Stanton factor and the Ozuna factor, and honestly, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very appreciative of you, Mr. Waltz. You've been nothing but a host and a gentleman, and I'm very grateful for that.
Like I said, Rookie of the Year with the Dodgers, Rookie of the Year with Fox Sports Florida. Ozzy Albies is up. Now, the other thing to talk about, the 2 milestones that we were focused on coming in. Giancarlo Stanton in an RBI crown. No Marlins ever led the National League in runs driven in, and Stanton did it. 132. He's knocked one in. Arenado is out of the game without driving in a run. And D. Gordon, the stolen base champ, by 1 over Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us probably had that feeling last night. Billy Hamilton hitting at the top of the Reds lineup today, got up 5 times, 0 for 4, did have a walk, not have a stolen base attempt. Just didn't present itself. So that's it. There you go. D. Gordon, number 60 last night, and he had it 2 times, right?
You know, the amazing thing, and look, the people talk about the National League being more action and the American League being more wait for the 3-run homer. American League stolen base crown is going to be awarded in the mid-30s.
Oh.
Last I looked.
Altuve and a couple other guys are in there at like 32, 34. The other thing about D, you know, D's game was affected by Stanton's move to the 2 spot in the lineup, so you give D an awful lot of credit. I know he ends up with 60 stolen bases, but again, it wasn't as if D, and by the way, a 200-hit season when he could have been running like crazy if this lineup was kind of done a little differently, had to learn how to kind of coexist with Giancarlo Stanton hitting right behind him.
I'm with you, and I think that happened today when he was at first base and Stanton was up with runners in the corners. D in that spot is usually gone and didn't run. But I agree. I think D sacrificed some, but he probably benefited in getting, you know.
No, I mean, I feel pride for him in this situation because he ends up winning the stolen base crown. And I know that you look at Billy Hamilton and he missed some time due to injury. Trey Turner missed a bunch of time as well. And again, the 3 of them are going to go at this. You know, as long as they all stay in the National League, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting conversation for years to come. But I think under these circumstances, he'll probably look back at this year and think to himself how proud he was. He won with 60. And, you know, he had to deal with and I'm saying that in a very positive way, you know, kind of had to deal with what was going on behind him. I mean, it affected his game in that, I mean, I don't know how many times I said on air, you know, that the best offense right now for D. Gordon is to get the best secondary lead he can get just to keep pressure on the mound so that Stanton's getting pitches to hit while he's over at first base. He's on second. They can either pitch around Stanton or, you know, do it a lot of different ways.
Oh, you put it well last night. I think this is a year where D had a lot to prove, both on and off the field, and he's done that.
Yeah.
Fastball jams Suzuki and he fouls it back. The Braves have used the long ball to build this 8-5 lead. Kurt Suzuki a 2-run homer in the 3rd. Adonis Garcia a pinch hit 3-run homer in the 7th. Javi Guerra, nice breaking ball. Suzuki strikes out. And here comes Freddie Freeman. Again, hang in there for Marlins Live. Or, look, if you got to go somewhere, just set the DVR. The end of season video spectacular. We always get outtakes, which could mean Todd Hollinsworth or Preston Wilson dancing. Certainly will be a few Jessica Blaylock moments. And of course, the focus will be on all the great accomplishments, big plays, big homers, great catches of this 2017 season. Freeman, a high fly ball. Center field, Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 for Guerra. A.J. Ellis got to do some managing here. It's 8-5. Duda is behind Rojas. The winning run with 2 outs and a full count. Runner goes. Real Muto, right center, well hit. Bruce after it, and he's not going to get it. Rojas around third. He will score. Ball game. Miami wins it. As Payne. Another big moment there. JT Real Muto with a walk-off double. Marlins could use a little magic in the final 2 innings of 2017. Brian Anderson leads it off. Miguel Rojas. And then the pitcher's spot. This is bottom 8. Giancarlo Stanton will get another at bat. And would foul back. Unless, well, yeah, he will.
Just leading off.
I mean, a 3-run homer.
But he would get up either way, right?
Right.
I mean, if they score 3 runs in front of him right now, there's nobody out. So he's going to get up in the 8th or the 9th. He's hitting. Since we're talking about it, Ozuna's home run today, number 37. Stanton 59. That's 96 home runs. That's tied for the 10th most by teammates in a season all time. In fact, that's the most combined home runs by teammates since 2002. So it's been a while, 15 years. Slider by Minter. Rodriguez and
AJ Minter strikes out Brian Anderson. Rojas coming up.
MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You're going to get club-based home screen icons and app features, as well as game day video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
Rojas singled in the 6th. He's a 1-for-3 day. Of course, the Marlins have JT Riddle, who will report to spring training healthy, ready to go. You got 2 guys who had valuable experience at shortstop throughout 2017. Here's JT. Two and 1 to Miguel Rojas. Minter.
Gone to that pitch a couple times here. Rojas does a nice job laying off. Hard slider in.
Ike Aviles is on deck. He'll get the pinch hit at bat. And Rojas walks. So a base runner here in the 8th. This is the pitcher spot. Remember, hitting 8th. D. Gordon's been in the 9th spot. One oddity, as you see Stanton on the steps of the dugout. One oddity in the D. Gordon, Billy Hamilton story today, just watching some of the highlights and reading about the end of that game, you noted that Hamilton walked in his last at bat, but he walked with someone in front of him,
right,
which put runners at first and second. The Reds then tried a double steal, which brought the throw to third base.
Right.
If the runner is safe, Hamilton gets a stolen base. Correct. At the back end. He was called out on a close play that went to replay. And while everyone stood around thinking this could be Billy's
number 60,
that could tie D. Gordon. After a review, the umpire took the headsets off and said out.
Yeah, well, give him credit. Give him credit for trying, though. I thought that was actually a pretty interesting, pretty brilliant play on their part. Billy Hamilton needed that stolen base. Cincinnati Reds aren't playing for much else. They're winning the baseball game. It's a close game, but he's got a guy on in front of him. How's Billy going to pick up a stolen base other than a double steal? And they put one in, put one down. Cubs went to third base, and in fact, I think the interesting, I saw a glimpse of it. They may have tried it with a left-handed hitter, meaning there was a clean shot for your catcher. You don't see that necessarily as much, but anyway, it was a bang-bang play at third base. They ruled him out, so Hamilton did not get the stolen base.
Gordon's on deck. There's one out. Rojas at first. Aviles. And he takes strike 3 call. Doesn't like it. Third strikeout for Minter. It's a strike. It has the plate. And it has the knees.
Well, it certainly has the attention Minter has of that inside corner against the right-handed hitters. As I've mentioned a few different times, he's been living in there. He's been going slider fastball to the same spot. The plate umpire is going to see it that way. He's seeing a lot of activity down in that corner. That fastball catches just enough of the plate.
Stands on deck. Here's Gordon. And Deep fouls it back to the screen.
Wouldn't it be fun if D could find a way to get on base here?
Yes, it would. He's been finding himself facing lefties most of the day.
Just that Stanton would get up with an opportunity to tie the ball game.
Gordon swings and fouls it into the glove. Aroldis Vizcaíno, the righty, in Atlanta's bullpen.
I think we weren't too sure how that was going to go. Late innings for the Atlanta Braves, although, you know, the Marlins have been out in front of all 3 games in this series, so we certainly knew he's down there and he's a weapon for the Atlanta Braves. Weren't sure of his availability, but now we know.
And with the situation and the score of the game, certainly the Braves are going to go to their best closing arms.
Right. Well, if Stanton's going to do this, it's going to be against Vizcaíno. Either way you see it, you're going to see him here in the 8th, or you're going to see him leading off the 9th.
Gordon strikes out. Stanton will lead it off for the Fish in the bottom of the 9th. 8-5 Atlanta. Marlins Baseball, Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. By the all-new Jeep Compass. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. They have been enjoying every moment I don't think anybody knows what's around the bend.
Right.
And those three have had such a blast coming up together in the minor leagues, playing together in the major leagues.
Growing up together in the big leagues. That's part of this. Part of the ranting and raving you've heard from me all season long with all this excitement is how much these young kids have grown together. It's a lot of fun to watch.
D. Gordon getting a little congratulations there from Tim Wallach. Mike Aviles is in at second base. Brian Ellington to pitch. And Nick Markakis fouls a pitch back. So it's 8-5. If you're asking yourself why should you stick around, two things. Another Stanton at bat in the bottom of the ninth, and then the year-end spectacular video extravaganza on Marlins Live. Can we add that to the title? Extravaganza?
It's about ready to turn into a fireworks show if you keep going.
Which is what we're after. That's what we're looking for.
That's right.
Markakis with a couple of hits. It's kind of the usual Markakis year with a little bit of a downward turn in terms of the numbers. 272 average. The on base healthy at 353, slugged about 383.
And that's what's actually down a little bit, that slugging percentage. But again, still driving in runs and getting hits.
Yep.
Picked up his 2,000th hit this year.
39 doubles.
Thought maybe we'd see him sprint around first base right there and just keep going.
Settle in with El Dorado Furniture. Here's the schedule highlights for 2018. Cubs and Red Sox on the home opener. Yankees away, Yankees home. That should be interesting. Derek Jeter's in the house today. Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter, among others, that are gathered here for really the first time in person to watch the Marlins. Ownership group scheduled to take over tomorrow.
Did you ever curious like how interesting that is, like from one schedule to the next? It's like the storylines from the last year always seem to tie together in the following season. You ever noticed that? And I know there's no way it's coincidence that it's happening that way, although it seems like it is. There they are.
They had a tour today of Marlins Park on a game day, a chance to see and maybe kick the tires a little bit, look around the ballpark. Adams to left. Ozuna is there and he makes the catch. Rio Ruiz now, and Ruiz takes in. Of course, the Braves hope that they're improved next year. They hope that all this playing time for Swanson and Albies, Ruiz, and all the other young players will pay off. Ozuna towards the line. makes the catch. So there are 2 outs here in the 9th. Giancarlo Stanton will lead it off in the bottom of the 9th. Miami's down 8-5. Stanton on the day is 2 for 4. 2 loud singles. Ozuna and Yelich also coming up. Dansby Swanson takes outside. Ellington with a strike.
Diamondbacks tune things up here and get ready for that wild card game, up 12-2 in Kansas City. Top 8.
One misses low. Every game started at 3 Eastern. By my count, 9 have finished. The slow pokes are still in DC. In the bottom of the 7th, Pittsburgh 8-5 over the Nationals. Two and two. The Dodgers, if they can hold a 3-run lead at Coors Field, will win their 104th game and send the Rockies headed towards the wild card with 87 wins. Stanton taking it all in, taking a look around. Ellington's 2-2. This was a Jose Urena start, and the Braves jumped him for 3 runs in the 3rd. Marlins bullpen surrendered a run in the 6th and 4 in the 7th. Bouncer to 3rd. Anderson has it. Out at first. Last shot at 60. Giancarlo Stanton trying to chase down the Babe. He'll lead it off in the bottom of the 9th. of the ninth, last game 2017. Inside Look brought to you by Toyota and the RAV4 60 homer club. The last to do it was Bonds in 2001. Of course, Ruth, the first to do it when he broke his record of 59 in 1927. Giancarlo Stanton at the plate. Braves' best arm out of the pen is in. Aroldis Vizcaíno. First pitch fastball fouled back up here.
All right, career versus Vizcaíno, 1 for 6. There you go. You see it right there. It's a single. Now, Vizcaíno, he has not pitched in over a week.
Stanton a mighty rip. And it's 0-2.
Right-handed hitters against Vizcaíno this year. 188 batting average. He has given up 4 home runs.
Two rocket singles today.
See that high velocity fastball? Ooh. He also has a curveball that he likes to throw. It's his put-away pitch. You did not see it right there. You've seen the 3 fastballs.
His father, who's been with him in this incredible journey. Big Mike. Let's see what he gets. 3 fastballs so far. Breaking ball got him, and Stanton strikes out. So the home run total sits at 59. An incredible MVP-type season. An RBI championship. A historic year. And an emotional exit.
Kept himself on the field all season long. Put up MVP-type numbers and is getting a standing ovation from Marlins Park. I think it's fair to say it all came together. The pursuit of this home run chase, everything that was going into it. Out there every day through the goods, the bad, didn't take a day off, only a couple down the stretch. Incredible season. One Giancarlo Stanton.
The handshakes and the hugs. Marcell Ozuna to left field. Adams makes the catch. Whether it's the last time we see him in a Marlins uniform or not, I'm sure that's on his mind as well.
There's certainly some degrees of uncertainty for what tomorrow holds for everybody associated with the organization right now. I'll tell you what, we've watched this lineup grow together, play together, and have fun together, and they've had one heck of a run this year.
And I think that degree of uncertainty is reflected right now in what is a pretty emotional dugout. Yelich with 2 outs. And the Marlins down to their last out here in 2017.
A number of these Marlins players had career years all coming together at the same time. Led by that man, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yelich swings and misses. Count 2-2. Well, you don't want the show to end. Right? But it ends at 59. And what a show it's been.
Well, and we talked about that degree of uncertainty, but hope and optimism from this group.
Yelich to center. Inciarte with room, and 2017 ends. The Braves win the ball game. Giancarlo wins the RBI crown. Finishes at 59. D. Gordon wins a stolen base title, his third. And Miami takes 3 of 4 from Atlanta. Again, a reminder to stick around for Marlins Live. Our year-end spectacular in both pictures and words and sounds and moments coming up. For the final time in 2017 for Todd Hollingsworth, our entire crew, I'm Rich Waltz. Marlins Live is coming up.